sit here and pet you. I can't. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, Anne. Disembodied hands, Quindy. Disembodied beard, John. And Kiki's ears. Right? Put your ears up. They can see them. There's one. There's one. There they are. Good girl, Kiki. Good girl. Good girl. She just really wants me to just sit here and pet her. Off screen. Kind of on screen when her little head pops over. You can see her face. Little Keekers. All right. Not so little Keekers, right? Yeah. Good girl. All right, Papa. Work. It's the last day of work. Last day. Last day, bubs. Hey, everybody. Yeah, sorry for the lateness today. I've been sluggish. It was a very sluggish morning. Starting with Kiki completely jumping on the bed on top of me when I was asleep. And I really was like, roar, because I needed my sleep. She was like, hi, Mom. She's very, very full of it this morning. She seems to be fully recovered, although it could be the drug stalking. I'm going to take her off the anti-inflammatories, I think, after one more day. And we'll see. But she seems very, very bouncy. She seems very bouncy. And she's trying to, sit up in bed and stuff again. And we're having to, no, put the brakes on because she wants to, run and bounce and do all the things that are not good for her back. So I think I'm going to take the meds off. And then if there is a twinge, then I'll know when she does that stuff. But it could be that she just tweaked it. Yes, or obnoxious bouncy girl, depending on how you look at it, Quindy. No, she's a sweetie. She's a good girl. Mostly a good girl. She was very respectful of David yesterday. His alarm went off, and she waited, and then she put her nose up, and then she's like, click, 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 to wake him up. Hey, do sex logic. How's it going? All right, let's get to it. I feel like the ears, lost a bit when I gave them that glaze of the reddish color yesterday. I feel like maybe I want to put a little bit more fleshy color up there, so I'm debating that right now. We need to work on the fur, right? That's mostly what we're going to work on today, because the fur needs help. And it's not easy to do this fur. This model, when you guys get the smaller version, it's going to be a little easier. Let's get close up. Let's get our thing in focus. But it's it's that kind of stripy kind of fur that's got a lot of relief to it. So it's actually it's not easy to paint. It's better to paint it just kind of generally. And I'll probably pick out some of these hairs around the eyes and muzzle, but I'm not going to paint. Painting every hair is a mistake on this. About 1.5 inches tall total. Okay. And this guy is about 3 inches tall. So they got it so it's about half size. So the model from Reaper is going to be about half size. So your little head is going to be half the size of this guy. Here's my fingers for scale. This guy's, I think, just short of 3 inches tall. He's, counting the base, 2 3/4. So if it was about 1.5 inches, actually, it's a little bit bigger than half of this size. Yeah. So that's not bad, actually. Although top of the paper label, here. From the ground to the top of the label. Yeah, about, just slightly shorter. I think they made it 50%. They scaled it down by 50%. Missed opportunity. Could have totally gone 2/3 of the height. But thanks for the reference there, Turgeon, since I asked. That's good to know. All right, so fur. We are doing, I think I did the mixed fur. So I was doing the, where is my volcanic orange? There it is. Volcanic orange plus brown liner or walnut or whatever you're going to do. Oh, wait. I did the chestnut gold, didn't I? Hold on, everybody. I did. And the ruddy leather. Okay, yeah, that's right. That's what I did. Ruddy leather, black and brown. I did these guys. So let's back out so you can see these guys. So that's right. Sometimes I'm like, what color am I using where? Let's get those guys out of the way. Luckily, though, I kept them all out. That's the great thing of working on the same model day after day instead of switching it up like we usually do. So there we go. All right, so we're going to mix these up and we're going to do the fur. Do the fur! And then I believe I was taking my light color mixing just a little bit of the black and brown into it so it would mute it down, and that's for that the lighter brown color around the face. Although I found out yesterday that driftwood brown is a really close match for that, so I may just grab my driftwood and do it that way rather than trying to mix it. The fact is that Master Series has so many colors in it right now that anything you mix probably has something that's close to it in the line, unless it's a really weird color. So we got that black and brown. There we go. I started running my first Facebook ad yesterday, guys, for my book, for East of the Sun, which is still on sale. And yeah, it's working. People are clicking on it. And the clicks aren't costing me too much yet. At least they weren't yesterday. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on it because Facebook can spend your money like nobody else. But it has to learn who my potential audience are. And it's weird when you target, because you can target other authors, but they don't have any like modern authors, or even like I think Robin McKinley is a fairly well-known like children's and YA fantasy author, and she's been around for a while, but she's not on there to target. I actually ended up targeting Neil Gaiman, who's one of my original comp authors with Stardust. And doing it that way. It was interesting to learn the platform. All right. So now I have another skill set under my belt for promoting my book, which is nice. Books. Going to put 1 drop of water in all those. Then I'm going to get some white together. I will grab my driftwood brown. It's out, and I can. This is a little grayish, you can see, compared to these colors. And I could probably add a little bit of these guys to the driftwood to make it closer to the color I originally had for this. But I know the driftwood is very close to the color around his eyes and his mouth. So, and I was going to bring that up to an off-white anyway. This driftwood is just a starting color. But we'll make it ally a little closer to these guys as we mix. And key to painting this fur is honestly going to be not trying to paint every little striation in the sculpt, but it is going to be painting in the same direction as the fur. I'll still be doing I'll be trying to do some texture, but I'm not going to pay attention to most of the actual texture on the model. Because when you get this down to tinitude, like a half of this size, you really aren't going to be able to easily hit all that stuff. And it's so much texture that it would be hard to paint it anyway. But I wouldn't dry brush it either, because it's going to be, you've got too much other stuff around it, I guess. I never think dry brushing looks good on fur, because it gives you a scratchy texture that doesn't seem like fur to me. But, alright. Now we will get to the mixing time. Let me get all these with their water in them. I will be streaming on my own platform tomorrow, guys, twitch.tv/paintingbig, about 3 p.m. USA Central Time. However, instead of Lava Dragon, I'm going to be working on, I think I'm going to be testing out the Cuttlefish colors, because I'm writing up my PDF for the Patreon for the $5 tier on those. And I'm working on an Adventure Cat monk. And I need to put the purples through their paces. And I was thinking I might do that on stream. So we'll mix this up. we are gonna kind of do a cross pollination here. Just mix some of my chestnut in here, make it a little warmer. And when I make it that little bit warmer, and I'll add some white to it, make it a little lighter, it'll work a bit better. All right, so we got that. Yeah, I have some thoughts on the cuttlefish colors already, but I want to, I'm going to be testing using their own medium that they sell for thinning their paints. So we'll play around with them on stream. So if you're interested in that, and the cuttlefish colors are the line that's currently being repped by Creature Caster, made by a paint chemist who also is a mini painter, just like it's kind of the opposite of me. I was a mini painter who like created a paint line and learned some paint chemistry. He was a paint chemist who like started painting miniatures and made a paint line. So we're kind of inversely related. But he's cool, and I talked to him a lot at ReaperCon, where he was there in the booth talking about his paint. But yeah, it's an interesting line with, I think, some specific applications that it would excel at. It also has some downsides, as every line does, including my own line. All right, so I'm going to paint over this with a slightly warmer version of this color around the eyes and the mask here. And then I may, because I don't necessarily want pure white here, I'll probably take a little bit of this and mix it into that to make a more of a cream color. You could also just grab creamy ivory if you want to. I like my colors to go together, so there we go. It's a nice cream. That'll be our highlight color. Kiki, what are you doing? You're such a dork. She's like making trouble, so you have to get distracted at me. That's what Kiki's good for, guys. Between the ads and the promo stacks, guys, I may actually, and the release of Rite of Winter, which of course was last month, end of last month, I may actually have my biggest, as far as book sales, not money, but book sales, I may have my biggest month this month. Definitely not money, because East of the Sun is on sale, so I'm definitely not making much with a 99-cent book. But it's cool. It's cool. I may break my record for number of books. Yeah. It's very cool. And then I'll figure out if I can actually afford to run Facebook ads, like just normally on the book. Like I run Amazon ads all the time on my books. Or if I just want to kind of let things calm down from the promotion. Which I probably will a bit. But yeah. Alright, so I'm just block painting. I'm kind of going over this since I mixed up a kind of a new color. It's a little warmer, a little lighter. You can see the difference between there and there. Although this side looks lighter just because it only has one coat on it. So I'm going to put this over here. Pardon me while I tackle Kiki and find out what she's chewing, guys. Hold on. Hold on. What are you eating? What are you eating? What you got? Oh, no, Bubba. No. Leave it. What is it? Oh, Bubba. Where did you get that? No, Bubs. Come on. Leave it. Oh, man. Well, so much for that. 1 second, guys. I can get rid of this. Oh, I know where you got this. Get away. Leave it. Yeah, you got that from there. Nope. Nope. Kiki has discovered the wonders of chewing packing tape. It tastes good to dogs because the glue is sometimes still an animal byproduct. Hi there. Okay, now stop it, geeks. Settle. No, you can't go in there and get any more of that. Deal. Yeah, I know. Mama's no fun. Mama has no fun at all, guys, just in case you wondered. Zero fun. Yep. Yeah, we'd left the guest bedroom open, and it's got the packing crate with a sculpture that David received. So she essentially got a piece of the packing tape off the box there. I had not been closing it because she wasn't going to jump up before because her back was hurt, but now she's obviously feeling better. That she's never like really wanted to get to tape, but apparently she has now discovered that tape is awesome. All right, we're ready. Yeah, it is annoying. Normally I break down boxes right away and they go in the garage and she can't ever get to them, but we kept this one because the sculpture arrived a little broken, and so David's been discussing with the artist what to do about it. So we've kept the box. Yeah, all thin plastics, yep. All right, so let's take this more in a kind of clumps of fur kind of direction. And so you can see this kind of one clump there, right? One clump there, there's one there, and then there's a little clump here. Kind of do that and do it as if the surface is smooth. So you want to pick out texture. But you don't have to be perfect about it. You can just paint over it. And that's just going to bring out, you can see how that brings out a little bit more detail there. We just want to bring out a little bit more detail. Again, this is a cartoony model, so you don't need to blend, and I could punch it up a little bit more. I was looking at the Lightbox Expo this morning because it's down in Pasadena, which is about 6 hours south of us in LA. Lightbox, James Gurney's going to be there. Lightbox is like an artists and animators expo. It's filled with tons of artists who do comic books, TV, movies, everything, which is why it's in Pasadena outside of LA. There's a lot of the industry, of course, is there. And it's like artists on, they've got an artist alley. They've got artists that are like selling prints and books and everything. And James Gurney is going to be there doing a sketching thing before it opens. And I was very tempted to go down and get my Color and Light book signed, but it's like coming right up, like as in 2 weeks. So David and I agreed we probably couldn't make it this week. But I think James Gurney goes every year, so I thought it would be kind of fun to go, so I signed up for their mailing list so I would get reminded about it next year. It looks like a pretty cool event. So I'm going to just do again, just like kind of like a fur brush stroke, but not really trying to hit specific hairs. I'm mostly doing the top of the muzzle there because I want a little bit of a blend appearance. Now, the one thing that's kind of good about texture, guys, is that you don't need to blend perfectly because it's not a flat surface. The actual texture is going to act as an interrupter of the light. And so here, I really just blocked and put a couple of like fur strokes, but it looks like it's blending because of the texture. So that's the good thing about sculpted texture like this, is it interferes the surface as far as the light and makes it look like you're blending better than you are. So you don't have to be perfect. He's so cute. He just gets cuter and cuter. But yeah, the Lightbox Expo sounds pretty cool. I really want to go down and get my book signed next year and talk to James in person. I really enjoy his Substack. He has a lot of interesting stuff on there. Sometimes I'm just like, meh. And sometimes I'm like, that's so cool. Like any Substack. Or any newsletter, for that matter, since I get it in my inbox. Again, we're just going to be doing brush strokes in the direction that the fur is growing, and Jason has sculpted that fur in that direction, so you don't even have to wonder about the direction the fur is growing. It's very evident. You can see my paint is pretty thick because I don't want to have to build this up. And again, because I'm doing a very cartoony style here, I can be more abrupt with my brush strokes. And we'll just get a few of these little furs. So I figure when we finish the front of this is when I'll send the picture to Ron, because he probably doesn't need a back shot for the model for advertising. So I can just send him that right away. So that's the good part about working mostly on the front of the model right now. So again, you can see that I've picked out little bits on the chin there. There is shadow in between those brush strokes. Oh, is Reaper releasing a turtle for hurricane relief? That's cool. Yeah, Jason always is on top of that. He loves to do models for charity. I'm glad Reaper's still doing that. Maybe I'll have to grab one of those. Is that on the front page right now? Can I go look at it? You got a link for me? Got a link for me? Oh, announced last night. Okay. So there's not an actual link yet. Grab a pic. Okay, yeah, that would be great. I would love to see a pic. I like painting turtles. Remember the turtle I did from the Bard Song game? Oh, Jason has it on his Instagram. I don't know if I follow him on Insta. I'm not a big Insta person. I need to find Jason Weeby. What is he under? Is it Clawtown? Yeah. No, that's not got it. There we go. Got it. I see it. All right, I got it. Ah. That's right. Turtle, everybody. Druid. Undersea Druid. Yeah, this is a lot like the turtle that I just painted for Bardsong, actually. Great. Yeah, it's a cool turtle. Everybody seeing it? Sweet, and there it is. Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Very, very cool. Yeah, I just showed it. Go live next week. Yeah, that makes sense. That's very cool. Yeah, I always loved how Reaper did that. And most of the time it was Jason like leading the charge on just he would hear about something and he would sculpt. He would just start sculpting. Jason's great that way. Alrighty, so I want to do the ears up here. I've got some very kind of rough kind of fur sculpt up here that I want to get to. So first I'm going to thin down my black and brown a little bit more. I want to use it more as a shader and less as a baser. So that means I want it to be a little thinner. Female Krampus for Christmas. Oh my. Now we can have Mr. and Mrs. Krampus. Okay, I want to make a, there's that color. So this kind of golden color that I'm using is a mixture of ruddy leather and chestnut gold. And chestnut gold was canceled and is now re-released, and you all should run out and buy it. It's a very useful color. Oh yeah, hold on, let me go look. Oh, there she is. Yeah. Yeah, she's cool. Kiki, you don't need to bark. Barking is what gets you exiled. So we're going to use our ruddy leather as a bit of a shader here. Again, we're just going to be really quick on this. I think I'm going to add a little white to my chestnut gold now that I've mixed. Let me finish mixing with it. Because it's very yellow and it's not technically very light, and I need it to be a highlight here. So instead I'm going to take a bunch of it and mix it to make my intermediary shade. I'm making a separate well of that. There. I feel like I've got enough color there. Now I can add a drop of white to that. That may have bleached us out a little bit too much. White really affects this color strongly because it has 0 white in it as it stands. I want to restore just a little bit more oomph to it. There we go. That's a good one. Great. So that's a good highlight color for the reddish gold fur. I'm happy that it's Friday. I played more Diablo last night after I got home from... Actually, after I got home from CrossFit. I was a good Ann, and I stretched and did all my icing my knee. I've been religious about my physical therapy exercises. The knee is getting better, but it's so slow, guys. Like, knees are definitely the dumbest joint. There's a lady in the class ahead of me who fractured her foot and is wearing a compression boot and still doing CrossFit. So I didn't feel so bad coming along with my gimpy self. My coaches are so good, though, at modifying everything. I feel a little bit better about it. So we're just going to essentially go and do just big broad brush strokes. And on this flat part, I'm just doing little dashy lines. And then we get back to the fur, more of the fur here. And we can generally go just a little bit to bring out fur patterns. So you just want to bring in some variance. You want to be painting in the direction of the fur. I'm going to mix in a little bit of my ruddy leather here on the bottom part to break up the colors. And then on the outside edge here, I want to do more ruddy leather. Oh, they stealth dropped Julie's Hall of Fame bust, huh? Oh, yep. Look at them going all Beyonce on it. Gonna do a little bit of highlighting with my ruddy leather along the outer edge of the ear here. And again, even though he hasn't sculpted fur out here, I'm gonna use the fur brush stroke still, just to give a little bit of texture like it's super short fur. Got a little bit too glorfy there. Probably need to switch to a thinner brush. But you get the idea. And I can just paint over the top with my next color down if I want to blend it in a little bit. So rather than do a linear highlight, try to stick to the texture. You could also just blend it, but since this is longer fur, there's probably really short fur there, so it makes sense to bring it out. So over here is very rough. And I missed some spots you can see with that fur right there, so we'll fill those in. There we go. Just gonna kind of go over this area a little bit, solidify my colors. My paint was pretty thin here and I can see that it was, so. All right, so now I can come back with my highlight color. And we can do more highlights also on this. Because if it only gives us a little bit of detail, then we can mix a separate highlight color that's even lighter. We probably want to make it a little more punchy. So I'll do that real quick. And that's just me saying I need a little bit more there. Whenever you highlight and you think it looks okay, you almost always could use another highlight on top of that. So that's my new color. It's this plus the really light color on the far right. There. This plus this is that. Yeah, they put the last bits up very secretly. So okay guys, everybody who wants that Grim Reaper bust, limited number, and you've got it. You've got the first like you heard it first here on this stream, so run over there. Don't say we didn't tell you. They probably have so few that doing a general announcement doesn't make sense. If you know, you know. You let us know 5 minutes after placing, 5 seconds after placing your own order. Fair. That's fair, Quindy. That's fair. My Diablo rogue is having fun. I was having fun with it last night. I spin in circles while throwing knives at everything, pretty much. That's the summary. That's the summary of my rogue build. Spin in circles, throw knives at everyone. Everything dies. It's pretty awesome, actually. Whenever I have frustration and I need to take it out in the world by killing tiny monsters, that's Diablo. Probably not many, Julie, or they would have made a general announcement. And maybe if they don't like sell them out within a week or a few days, they will make a general announcement. But for now, y'all know. Y'all know. You have secret knowledge. Use it. Go forth. Go forth and purchase. David was actually astonished at me because he's like, "What do you mean you haven't started the story part?" And I'm like, "Well, I haven't. I wanted to learn my build so that I could, not get stuck in a difficult fight without knowing what I'm doing." And that led to another. One thing led to another, and the next thing I knew, I was like level 25, and I hadn't even started the new story yet. And he's like, who are you and what have you done with Anne? Because I'm like the story person. He normally doesn't care about story in video games. Like, I'm normally asking him, so what's the story behind this? And he's like, I don't know. But with Diablo, because it's so well written, he actually was looking forward to the story. And then I, the story person, was like, eh. Alright. Let me grab my kind of in-between color, and I'm going to shrink down this dark part. So I'm painting that over my dark, so I get darker on the face, and then a lighter cap of fur, which is exactly what the bat looked like that we were basing this on. I didn't quite carry that fur cap up far enough before. And again, I'm doing little brush strokes that are all in the direction of the fur sculpt. Hey, Roger. What are you guys planning for your weekend? We're being lazy. David wants to sit home and play Diablo. I'm going to get some dog stuff done. Dog stuff and writing for me. Quindy will be back in a second, Roger. She had to step out for a sec. Oh, if I want, I can do kind of a wet blend in here. Often, on fur stuff, I do like doing kind of a wet blend. I find that on textured surfaces, it works really well. To get a kind of blended look. Yeah. Caught up on crap. Yep. On the one hand, it's kind of a bummer when you have to use your weekend to catch up on crap, but on the other hand, when you actually have a weekend to sacrifice to catch up on crap, it kind of feels good. There's Quindy. Going to an apple farm. Nice. We used to do that when I was a kid. We had an apple farm right near us. You could go out and pick apples and buy apple-related things. I think I'm going to make cookies and roast carrots. Some gaming. Oh, obligatory family stuff. Yeah, it is what it is. Family stuff can sometimes be fun. Gonna do just a couple of rows of that lighter fur here. I'm gonna highlight it a lot like I did the brows. Yeah, I told David, like, he was like, well, what do you want to plan for France? And I was like, I want to do this exactly like we do Hawaii, which means one thing planned maximum per day, usually in the morning or early afternoon. And the rest of the time is vacation. Like, my family knows how to lounge around, okay? David's family, not so much. Like, I have to, like, emphasize that I actually like not doing stuff when I'm on vacation. I like doing stuff a little bit, but I don't want the whole day like planned. Like they will plan the entire day, every day. I'm like, I'm on vacation. Vacation involves me lounging around, reading a book. Like, seriously. What about you guys? Is your family like, are you a you have to do things on vacation like person, or did your family like well, honestly, my favorite thing about vacation with my family when I was a kid is that we when we went to places like St. Thomas or Florida or whatever, there was lots of time hanging out on the beach just reading. Like, that was my favorite. That was what I wanted to do on vacation. Even on the cruise ship, when we went on a cruise, I spent a lot of time sitting on a deck chair reading. That is my idea of a wonderful, relaxing afternoon. So when I first encountered David's family, I was like, don't you people ever relax? Just funny because he's so chill. You like to be able to roam or change plans, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my dad liked to plan things, but he also liked to plan just days for the beach or whatever, right? Ah, okay. Just a list. So when you wake up, you kind of look at your list and decide what you want to do, Roger. That's pretty cool. I like that. I like that philosophy. Yeah, not going every minute. Exactly. Oh, yeah, that's a bummer, Quindy. Yep. I don't get that. I mean, I get it on one level because you're in a place and you want to see all the things, right? You want to feel like you got your money's worth, or you want to feel like you didn't miss stuff because you might never be back. You know, David, when he asked me, what do you want to do in Paris? I'm like, well, this is my first time in Paris. I might never go back. I don't know, right? So we're going to just look and see what the big things are, right? So that I don't, like, have to say, no, I didn't go see the Arc de Triomphe or whatever. No, I didn't go to, I know we're going to the Louvre, so that's not a thing. Missing the Louvre is not going to happen. I did tell him, and David's like, yes, and French food. I'm like, yes, I want to go to a Michelin star restaurant. He's like, what? I'm like, I want to go to one Michelin star restaurant in Paris. You can pick which one, but I want to go to a really fancy one, a really cool one, because Michelin star is like it started in Paris. And I'm like, I'm really curious as to what a French Michelin starred restaurant is like. So that is my pick for what I want to do, like one of the things I want to do in Paris. A must list, and the rest if you feel like it. That's a good one. That's a good philosophy. I like that philosophy. Yeah, I don't know why he was so taken aback because we have a Michelin starred restaurant here in Mountain View, and we've gone there. But I'm really curious as to what it takes to get a Michelin star in Paris. So we don't make mistakes. Yes, it's true. So you can see I've picked out some lighter fur here, but I'm not going like real heavy on it. Just kind of doing that kind of appearance there. Makes him look kind of prickly almost. He's not prickly. He says, I'm soft and fuzzy. I want to mix up a color for the front area here. I'm going to use my ruddy leather and actually mix some of my my kind of light tan highlight in there to see if I can also pick out some detail and up front on the face. Oh. I was thrilled, yes. Yep. That's funny. My dad was never quite like, he wasn't like right off the plane. Like we would go to the hotel and we would like settle in, but then he'd like want to go and take a walk around the neighborhood, or he'd, and then we'd go. The next day was definitely all planned. So slightly lighter, but still that reddish brown. I don't like that. I want to keep that dark. Thought about highlighting in here, but I want to keep that dark. Dark stripe. Then I wanted to make slightly lighter spots on the front of his ears here. So I'm going to look at the fur direction and gonna kind of blend that in. Gonna thin down this really light color so I can make it a little bit more transparent. If I want to use this light color but I don't want it as punchy as it was around the eyes, then I want to thin it. I'm supposed to go to Florida. Leave at 6 a.m. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty extreme. Sometimes I wonder about people like that. I'm like, seriously, is that the legacy you want to leave your kids? Like, you're going to do that to them? You think you're teaching them a lesson, but really you're just going to remember how they hated you when you did that. Like, you're not teaching them about punctuality. You're teaching them that you're a dick. Maybe that's just me, folks. Right? Like, if I was the mom in that scenario, I would have reloaded the car and gone. Oh, nice, Quindy. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, lessons are lessons, but being a dick is being a dick. That suggests to me he really didn't want to go anyway, and he just took that opportunity to say, screw y'all. But of course he would have that he probably didn't present it that way. Like, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally better lesson if we left late setting up the tent in the dark, which is never fun. Uh-oh, Ms. Barkaroo is back. Oh, yeah. That's something he's, you know, that's something that you have to like look back, realize where it came from, realize it came from your dad being a dick, and just decide to opt out. Because just because your parents, like, you know, instilled it in you doesn't mean you have to still buy into it. Becoming adult is all about uninstilling those things. I don't know if I'd call it abusive to cancel a trip because your kids weren't prompt. I would definitely call it being a jerk. But yeah, whatever. I mean, maybe to some kids it would be traumatic. That's a good point. It's something you never forget, that's for sure. Alright, so we got our little light spots there, which I really like. Crosses into the abusive line. Interesting. Okay. They divorced when he was in high school. Yeah. The mom didn't drive at the time, yep. Yeah, for sure. Well, at least, so I'm darkening down the little tips there. I like that kind of look. Gonna darken down a little bit here. Hey there, Blades. How's it going? We painting the face of a cute little Batling. He's almost set. We are almost set. I want to highlight his little nose a little bit more. A little tiny bit more. We need to get a little spot highlight on the end of the nose. It is so cute, isn't it? We love Batling. There we go. A little bit of a light on the end of the nose. So cute, so cute. So adorbs. Let's back up. There he goes. He's a cutie. Cutie patootie. Yeah, I still feel like because the red on the toadstools is now bringing out the red that I put down in the hollows of the ears, I feel like I do need to maybe make the ears a little more fleshy toward the edges. So I think I'm going to mix up that color and work on that after we get more of this blocked in. Yeah, right. Yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's like throwing culture at you, right? If you're going to like, you know, 3 or 4 museums in a day, it's like you're not going to retain any of it. Your brain's going to be overwhelmed. That's somebody who like just thinks I want to be able to say that I went, and they're not actually worried about actually remembering or absorbing anything. It's like we're going to Paris and this is what we're doing because we have to, right? I'd rather prioritize and do fewer things. But I've got like 2 trips planned before that, so. So try to get the light in on the paws there a little bit. Yeah, right, Kundi, exactly. just highlight those little areas. And again, I'm doing a lot of wet blending here because the fur is very choppy texture, but I want the limbs to stand out, right? That's funny, Michael. We played it at Disneyland, or Disney World. Our swing choir went to Disney World. They were doing having swing choirs perform from all over the country at Disney World, and my swing choir was one of them. So we got to go to Florida with my high school. That was my high school trip. It was interesting. Minimize this just a little bit. And if I have to shade, if I want to darken down an area, I'm still going to be going in the direction of the fur. Happy little bat. Sweet. The body's easy because it's very simple and small, and the fur is less striated. It's less coarse, so it's easier to just do some simple fur stroke and then do simple highlights. So just the areas that are standing out. It's got a little bit of a shadow here. Then we'll tackle the back of the head. Try to get all this fur texture done this stream. I have a lot of little crap to do today. I have to write some web pages for after I do my Patreon stuff, I have to write some web pages for the Shiloh Shepherd website. We're doing a new website. I committed to doing a couple of them. Shh, don't tell anybody, Kodiak, it's a surprise. But yeah, we're doing a brand new website. Been working on it for quite a while. The one we have now is the one that I wrote from scratch back when we started. So we decided it's time for a new one. Switch it up a bit. Yeah. Yeah, the one that currently is, I wrote it myself. Like I used Bootstrap, and I put that website together all on my lonesome. It's the first website that I programmed, like, since HTML was first a thing. But it's the first responsive website I programmed. And then I was learning WordPress to do my author site. And we decided to use WordPress to do the new Shiloh Shepherd for our ISSA site. So yeah, it's cool. We'll finally get some of the pages on there that I've always wanted to have. But I just never had time after I made the main site. I didn't have much time to add more pages and stuff. And a whole bunch of different people are writing pages for it this time. Not just yours truly. So yeah. Yeah, I think when we go to Oahu this time, I want to do more hiking. We're going in March. And so I think I want to schedule more hikes. This time I'll remember that we need to bring insect repellent. It should be cooler and rainier. So just a little bit of highlighting there in the back. Okay, let's get that other ear. Yeah, I tend to have a list. It usually does make sense though, like I usually slot a couple things in before we go as far as specific days. Because there's usually something that makes sense that way, like the museum is closed on this day, so we'll go on this day, and I'd like to hike Diamond Head on X day, right? So here I've done it a little bit differently, and I'm going to change this, guys. So since the head is rounded, originally I had brought that color down, and then I'd kind of like gone up this way, but actually it's better to do it like to emphasize the roundness of the head. So I should bring up a darker color around there. So I can kind of emphasize that. Right. Yeah, and I had to do reservations for one of the museums we wanted to go to last time we went to Oahu. I wanted to go to the Museum of Islamic Art, and that's a small, they only have a small tour size every time they go to tour. It was really cool though. I enjoyed it. Yes. Yes, exactly. I will pay extra to stay somewhere I don't feel like. Quindy, power to the people. I am so there. I'm with you 100% on that. I like a decent hotel. And if I can get a very nice hotel, I do it. In fact, I should look into like the super nice hotel in Versailles just to see, because I might be able to use points. There we go. So blend that in, and then we'll start bringing in some colors to bring out. And we did this ear, but we have to do this ear. We've done a couple of nice Airbnbs, although I think we used a different, not actual Airbnb, but we used one of those different, this was a similar but different service. Yeah, we're doing a cruise this Christmas, just after Christmas. Yeah. No, I tend to stay in nicer hotels even on the way. Both because then the bed is usually like more comfortable for me. Because back issues. I don't want a saggy bed or a bad bed. We do B&Bs and guest houses when we go down to Carmel, but we've had really mixed experiences with those as far as the bed and other stuff. That's kind of what you do when you go to Carmel, so it's like we don't stay in a real hotel when we go down there. But yeah, actually when, hate to say this, but Reaper used to pick places that were way out from Gen Con because it was cheaper. But one of them, I definitely was like, this is dicey. And the next year, I paid to stay downtown. I split a room with somebody because I just didn't want to. I didn't like the vibe of staying way out there, being, a female in the room alone. I didn't feel safe walking to the ice machine. I don't want to stay. Yeah, that makes sense, Laura. We did a house when we went recently to Ashland with David's parents over the summer. And we had a good experience. That was a pretty good house. And it was a very short walk to downtown Ashland where all the shops are, so that was nice, and the restaurants. So again, just kind of like trying to generally get the texture on the ears. Not trying to get too crazy. Yeah, no way, Quindy. Yep. Yeah, the one that Reaper stayed at wasn't like terrible like that. It was just like it was kind of out in the boonies and not in a great neighborhood, and you could see like guys just watching you walk to your room, and I was just like, no, 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 no. I stayed that 1 year, and then the next year I got together with actually with Sandy Garrity and split a room in a nice hotel in Indianapolis. Just did it that way because it was worth it to me to pay the extra money to be on site. So I was still teaching then, so I was hauling a caddy along with me full of class materials. Yeah. There are some funky hotels for sure. Okay. Now I need the lighter fur color to get that other ear, and then we can do the central head. For sure, Quindy. We just get a little bit of texture, and then we'll get to the top of the head. It is kind of nice. I'm gonna do some writing later today. It's kind of nice to have to have Rite of Winter behind me, where I was doing about 500 words a day. And at the time, I was really dissatisfied with that number. But now that I'm writing my new book, which doesn't have a real working title yet, it'll have one soon. It's kind of a relief because I'm just like, all I have to do is 500 words. So having that number is kind of nice. Nano, I'm going to have to, punch it, but I have 3 books published, I know. Soon there will be a 4th in that series. I think for this new book and for the romances, I'm going to end up writing a few of them before I actually put them out. So you beta readers, you'll get to read them first. Obviously, since I need your feedback. But you'll probably get to read them well before they actually come out. Because I think I'm going to want 3 before I start putting them out. I want it for the romances. I want to try rapid release. I want to try putting them each out. Three books in the series, 1 a month, and try to use ads and stuff to drive traffic during those release periods and see how well I can do. It's something. It's a strategy I would never use with my fantasy series. But it might work with romance. Yeah, the one I'm working on now is more of a... It's kind of a YA cozy. It's my progression fantasy. Oh, bye, Airways. Missed you. I hope you're still here. I hope you heard me say bye. I missed it. Just a little bit of highlighting around here. And again, just keep it in line with the fur texture. Oh. Oh no, your bones order arrived, but you have a meeting. I'm so sorry, Ghoulie. Yeah, I should get my bones order next week, since I paid for the shipping yesterday. It might come on the weekend, but probably I'm figuring early next week. There we go. Got some bat going on here. Oh no! Quindy the Free is on. Crowley succeeded. Blame John. He's really not a hamster. He's more of a canary. He gives us a warning signal if the free giveaway's been left on. It's like being in a mine with a canary. There we go. We have done giveaways on the stream before. Usually when there's a special thing, like a 500th episode. I don't know how many episodes we're on now. Quindy, do you? Yeah. Oh, it's 11. I better do the fur here quick so that we can get all the fur done. 8 billion at least. I'm wondering when our 1000th episode is coming, because we should definitely do a giveaway for that. I'm guessing we have a little time. Yeah, it was last year for the 500th episode, I think. I don't think that was this year. Yeah, if we can get a guesstimate. If we can even get a guesstimate, then we can just celebrate it like in an appropriate month. Like we think it's around. It's got to be getting up there, though. I would guess we'd be on 800 or 900 now. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe 800. Well, we're doing quintuple subiversaries now. But I mean, I miss weeks here and there, so it's not just 5 days a week. It's not just 250 episodes a year, right? It's fewer than that. There we go. Yeah, as long as it's close, we can totally just arbitrarily choose a day and celebrate it. It's cool if we can figure it out exactly, or at least, have a ballpark that we're reasonably confident in. There we go. Little Batling limbs. Yay, fur! Oh, and I love his little spots on his ears. They worked out really well. So yeah, so next time I'm going to refine this and lighten up this. I'll probably work more on finishing these toadstools, guys. We'll block in the stems as well as the shadows in the stems, and we'll work on the caps and the ear. And yeah, I think that's where we're at right now, guys. Batling says, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, time tends to fly on. 500th episode was 520. Wow, that was a long time ago. Yeah, we'll have to figure it out, Quindy, because we're probably close to 1,000 then. Like, we're probably, really close to 1,000. I'm glad I asked. I wouldn't want to miss our 1,000th episode. Because if you figure about 230 a year, that's, 460 plus whatever we've done in the last 3 months. So yeah, I think we're probably right around 1,000 right now. We should plan that. Double check it and plan it. Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow, guys. 3:00 p.m. USA Central Time. We're going to be doing the Adventure Cats. I'm going to be playing with the Cuttlefish paints and sharing my thoughts, some of my thoughts. The rest will go in my PDF for my Patreon. Yeah, it's a lot. Probably close. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Quindy. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, if I see you, on my own channel. Have a great one, everybody, and have a wonderful weekend if I don't see you on the stream tomorrow, and we'll be back on Monday. Yay! Bye-bye, everybody.